Welcome back, investors and traders. We have Brian Meece on the line, and he is founder and CEO of Rockethub. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Joel.
Okay. So Rockethub is one of the world's top crowdfunding platforms. Just I'm sure a lot of people know exactly what that is, but could you just give us a simple breakdown of crowdfunding platforms?
Sure. So really crowdfunding is the idea of using communities, the internet, social media to fund and share ideas. Our fastest growing segment on our site now are the entrepreneurs and the startups and the small businesses that are looking to launch products, launch their companies, grow their companies. So we're seeing just a lot of activity in the entrepreneurial space. Part of that is probably due to our exciting partnership with A&E Networks, which is called Project Startup. We were actually just in Detroit with Project Startup Live earlier this month. But really, the idea of crowdfunding is using the crowd to fund and share things.
Okay, and there are other sites out there similar to you. What differentiates Rockethub from some of these other sites?
Well, I'd say two key things. Number one is we've got a fantastic education on Rockethub called the Success School. It really takes folks that are new to this model and teaches them soup to nuts how to use crowdfunding. Is it right for them? What to do? What not to do? As a result, we've got a lot of activity in the college market and university market. That's one point of differentiation. But probably our biggest point of differentiation was really this partnership with A&E that takes stories from our community and puts them, in touch of 100 million television sets across North America, and also places them on some of their website entities and promotes entrepreneurship through these live events. So that's probably our biggest differentiator.
Okay, and did you mention you were in Detroit recently?
Yeah, first week of June, we were there with A&E. We did a Project Startup Live event where we, the first half of the show was kind of an entrepreneurial forum on kind of what's happening with startups in the local region, and then the second half was local pitches where the top entrepreneur won $10,000 and some extra services from Comcast Business. So it was pretty cool.
Right, and so that you did get some follow through from that. Has that show been aired yet? Did you do it live, or is there something that was?
Sure, it was shot live. It's recorded. It'll be available in the local market through the on-demand channel. But stay tuned for more news there because we're still in the process of editing it up and getting it ready to go. So.
Okay, so do people come to Rockethub? Is that do they perhaps try and go to private funding first and it doesn't work out, so they're using this as an alternative, or are people going to the crowdfunding platforms first as instead of going to the private sector?
It's a great question. I really feel like crowdfunding is a great fit for the seed stage. Folks that are raising between 10 grand to 100 grand to test their prototype, get some market feedback, maybe grow a new product line. I feel like that's the sweet spot for the crowdfunding. It's where the bulk of the activity on our side is taking place. We've had projects that break out of that and raise a lot more and make a lot of headlines, which is always exciting. But I would say the bread and butter of the crowdfunding, movement at this point is really the seed stage. But what's neat is that we get a lot of feedback from entrepreneurs that maybe have raised $50,000 or $100,000 on our site and said, "Hey, I had angels reach out to me. I had a corporate entity reach out to me. I had press reach out to me, which has helped just give my venture more momentum." So we really look at crowdfunding as not just a funding play, but as an awareness play and a marketing play. So, it's one of these models that it's really about, funding and sharing and discovering products and entrepreneurs beyond just a general fundraise.
Okay, so tell us about some of your success stories, and
One of my favorites is a spring powered sneaker based out of El Paso, Texas. Andy Krafser is the CEO and founder of Spira Footwear, and he basically built the technology that recycles your energy for a healthier walk or run. The sneakers look really slick. They're super lightweight, and I've gotten so spoiled I can't wear anything else these days. And it's a great story of somebody who he's been running his whole life, and he's a track star in high school and then also in college, and he went off to be a lawyer, which he did that for 15 or 20 years as a success. And then after his long runs, was talking to his doctor, and he had got some knee pain and some hip issues, which I do, and of course the doctor says stop running. And he decides, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to, spend my for the rest of my career building and selling a healthier line of footwear, and that's what he's done. He had a project with us last year that raised about $500,000
wow.
to pre-sell some of his products. The project was selected by A&E. The folks at A&E Project Startup loved it. He got some on-air exposure. He got some social media exposure and internet exposure through A&E. So it really gave him a sounding board. Not only a funding play for him to kind of ramp up production for this new product that he was launching, but also a great awareness. He was in numerous press outlets, from Forbes to the Wall Street Journal, and a lot of running blogs and everything in between. But also had the funding to kind of launch the line as well, and that's just a fun story of an entrepreneur that's got a great product, a great story, and leverage crowdfunding in all the right ways.
Okay, so when they go to the crowd for $500,000, is that one of the bigger raises that you've had, or is that pretty
It's
typical?
one of the bigger ones for entrepreneurs. Yes.
Yeah, it is. So, are they when they're going this route? I mean, do they predetermine the amount of company that the portion of the company that they want to retain, or is that something that always has to be established beforehand before they go out on the site? And does Rock?
Great question. So our model is not an investment model; it's a pre-sale model. So funders, in exchange for their monies, are getting product or they're getting experience. So, for example, with Andy and his Spira shoes, the folks that pre-ordered the product at $90 got their sneaker before anybody else. They got it cheaper than it will be at retail, and they got to be part of the story. So it's a really a pre-sale mechanism, at least in its current flavor for our platform. We are looking at Title III of the Jobs Act is pretty exciting and interesting. We're waiting for some regulatory issues to still be worked out there, which could open up the crowdfunding model further. But at this point, what we do is a pre-sales model, enabling entrepreneurs to kind of get their product, their story, their experience out, and funders get those things in exchange for their monies.
And do you guys ever get to keep a little portion of the company? Is that in any kind of the agreement? So you guys kind of
We don't keep portions of the company, but let's just say the Rockethub office has got a ton of cool stuff in it, from spring powered sneakers to tech toys that walk around to gourmet peanut butters. If you're ever in New York, swing by and we'll dive into some of these boxes. They're a lot of fun.
Okay, you got a lot of stuff, different stuff there, and just finally, if someone has an idea and they want to go to your site, like what kind of homework do they need to do beforehand, and just kind of walk us through the process.
Right. We always encourage folks to check out the Success School. That really kind of manages expectations and, again, shows folks that crowdfunding is a bit of a contact sport. It takes effort to fundraise at any level, including the crowdfunding level. So that's the first thing I do is say check out the school, get some tips and tricks, and make sure it's right for you. What we do on Rockethub's side is we make sure that every campaign that comes on our site is legitimate, is tasteful and legal. So make sure that you're all those things. But I would say that to get started, the education component would be a good place to start.
Okay, thanks a lot, Brian. We've had Brian Meece on, founder and CEO of Rocket Hub, talking about crowdfunding and ways to kickstart some of your investments if you have a good idea. Be sure to check out Brian's site. Brian, thanks for coming on, and hope to have you on again soon.
Phil, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.